Okay, we're gone. Good morning, everyone. How are you feeling today?
Very
Good
good.
morning, how are you?
Very good.
Very good. My name is Hussein Kassab. I'm thrilled to be your trainer today for today's training session on workplace health and safety.
Sorry, I was
That's all right. When you're ready and when you're comfortable.
good to school.
Okay. With 16 years experience as a renderer, plasterer, painter in both commercial, residential construction across Australia, I bring a wealth of practical knowledge to our discussion today. I hold a Certificate 3 in painting and decorating, as well as a Certificate 3 in solid plastering. Let's start by introducing ourselves. Could each of you please share your name, background, and what you hope to gain from today's session? We'll start off with you, Michelle, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Vishal Bandai. I'm from Nepal and I moved to Australia around 2019, and since then I've been working in construction as a solid plaster vendor like Khas himself, and today I'm attending this session with us to know more about the work health and safety rules and regulations,
Very nice.
because it's a very important part of the job, as we need to be safe, we need to go home always. So I'm here for that, to know more about this, so that we can create a safe working space together for everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hi everyone, my name is Neeraj Panelu, and I come from country like Vishal, Nepal. So, and I've been in Australia for 7 years now. The reason why I'm attending this course today with us is because I want to be able to call myself a safe worker in my workplace, and to know more about the workplace health and safety. So that's the reason behind this, why I'm doing this course.
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm originally from France. I've been here in Australia for about 10 years now. I have a certificate 3 in painting and decoration, and I attend this course today to learn how safe practice. I learn how to be safe for myself, safe for others, and make the work site a better place, a safer place.
Very good.
Hello everyone, hello Hans. My name is Bladio. I come from Italy. I've been here in Australia for more than 10 years doing solid plastering like yourself.
Yeah.
I like to adjust my work situation based on the laws. That's why I'm here. And I'd like to know the laws in details. I heard that you have to.
Very good. Thank you for all sharing. It's wonderful to have such a diverse group here today. To ensure smooth communication, let's adhere to a few ground rules. Please be patient and allow one person to speak at a time. Maintain a respectful tone throughout our discussion. Don't hesitate to ask questions if you have any. Respect and consider each other's suggestions and ideas. As we engage in our session, let's also prioritize workplace health and safety considerations by setting up ergonomic workstations.
Yep.
For emergency exits, please take note of the emergency exit located at the back of the classroom, just on the left. In case of an emergency, we will evacuate through the exits and proceed to the assembly point in the parking lot, which is down the stairs, down on the right, second flight of stairs, and then there's a glass door and that's the driveway that we simply point. Fire alarms. If you hear fire alarms, please remain calm and follow instructions for a safe evacuation. There is a first aid kit located in a cabinet near the entrance. That's down the second flight of stairs, and there'll be a door on your right, and it's just by there. If you need assistance, please inform me. Before we begin, could you please write your name onto this attendance paper for attendance purposes, please? Very good.
Thank you very much. I'll give you the pen back.
Thank you. I've already received your IDs via email. Thank you very much for that.
No problem.
I want to remind everyone that our session today will last approximately 30 minutes. I encourage you to actively participate and ask questions during this time. I also want to express my gratitude to each of you for submitting the self-assessment checklist.
Yeah, thank you.
Your inputs have been invaluable in tailoring today's session to better suit your needs. Without further ado, let's highlight today's session goals and outcomes. Our purpose is to understand legal obligation such as WHS regulation, benefits of safe workplace, how to identify hazards, and learn about different types of hazards. For the learners, will also briefly learn introduction about the risk assessment and controls. During this session, we will watch a video presentation, go over slide materials, and I'll ask questions about topics we cover. These questions will act as a formative assessment to help me evaluate your understanding of the concept as we go along. Let's start the session by watching a short video about WHS in Australia. Just give me a moment to pull this video up. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Keep it bit to the left.
What? Turn it to the left?
There were, in fact, 127,300 workplace-related injuries reported in 2010-2011, and 220 work-related deaths. And every single one is one too many. Work-related injury and illness were estimated to cost $60.6 billion in the 2008-2009 financial year. This represents 4.8% of GDP. But what's worse is that the injury and fatality rates for the Australian construction industry are almost double those in Europe. The introduction of the harmonised workplace health and safety legislation has helped, but companies are only now starting to realise the implications of the new legislation for their business, including significantly increased legal exposure that directors now carry that includes large fines. filing cabinets. It's this challenge that FieldTech has set out to address. So, what are the systems that you need to assess risk, manage training, qualifications and procedures, report incidents and plan projects for when you out in the field when you are actually doing the work? And you can use this information to form the basis of your project plan, undertake risk assessments, and manage day-to-day operations. You could save hours of administrative work and provide assurance that your team and the general public were safe and the company complied with the law, which makes everyone happy. FieldTech is a game changer in ensuring people finish their workday safely in a controlled risk environment. Why not check it out for yourself at www.fieldtech.com.au.
Alright. Just give me a moment, well, let's do all of this and change. So how was the video? How did you guys find the video?
Yeah, very informative.
It was good.
As the video said it,
Yeah.
it's one too many lines.
One too many lives. Yeah, it's something we don't want. We don't want to lose lives on site. We don't want people to get injured and we all want to go home.
Exactly.
And you don't want it to be your responsibility
7
too
tons.
as well.
So, how familiar are you guys with the term WH&S?
Well, not
Uh,
Or what it
very,
stands
not,
for?
yeah, no, not very. I don't know.
I know what it stands for, but I don't know what it entails, like what is included in WHS. I know what it stands for, workplace health and safety, but what comes under that umbrella term, so that's the reason why
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Alright. Just give me a moment while I bring up some of these PowerPoints. We're going to be going over some PowerPoints and slides now.
Yeah.
To familiarise ourselves with the whole umbrella of WH&S. Okay. Can you all see the screen?
Yep.
Workplace safety matters.
You want to keep it a bit to the left.
That's, it's alright. Oh,
Yeah, no,
sorry.
it's alright.
You can
No,
see it?
that's all right, I can see it.
Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
alright.
Oh.
It's alright.
Ensuring the safety and well-being of employees, the paramount concern for any organisation, culturing a working culture of workplace safety, not only protects workers but also boosts productivity, morale and the overall reputation of the company. Workplace safety so is not just your concern or it is as well the employer's concern, it's everyone's concern, workplace safety. Legal obligations, WHS Act and regulations.
1 second, teacher. Sorry. I think because I can't see properly, but I'd like to get a little bit of a bigger sort of, so I can read a little bit better.
Yeah.
No, this I can read from here. Just I need it a little bit bigger.
Legal obligations. Hold it.
Yeah, it's alright. Yeah.
Legal obligations, WHS Act and regulations. Workplace health and safety. The WHS Act establishes the legal framework for protecting the health and safety and welfare of all workers in the workplace. WHS regulations. Detailed regulations outline specific requirements for hazard identification, risk assessment, and implementation of control measures.
Yeah.
Employer responsibilities. Employer have a duty of care to provide a safe environment and ensure the well-being of their employees. Employer obligations. Workers must take reasonable care for their own health and safety and as well as of that others and in the workplace.
So they're actually legal obligations
Those are the legal obligations. Those are the
and they act on the regulations.
Yeah. Benefits of a safe workplace: improved productivity, increased morale, enhanced reputation. Improved productivity. So when you're safe and you're working in a safe workplace, it is a less of a concern for you to get hurt, or so you are focused on the task at hand. Increased morale is when you go into your workplace, you feel good. You're not second guessing yourself about doing a task.
Yeah.
And you're able to work freely and not worry about hurting yourself or others. Enhanced reputation. Nobody wants to be that person. I hurt that person, or we're responsible for that person being hurt, or answering to those questions. Somebody got hurt on our site under our duty of care.
Yeah.
That's our reputation at hand, and we want to maintain it as a safe workplace
Yeah.
and go home safe.
Yeah.
Identifying workplace hazards. Definition of a hazard is types of hazards, importance of identification.
Yeah, I'd like to know the definition of the hazards is always.
Definition of hazards.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's always been.
So what is the definition of a hazard? What would you think is the definition of a hazard?
I don't know. I think it's a kind of mixed up. I think something that can hurt, or I don't know. I'm not sure.
That can cause some harm or something like that.
Yeah.
That is
For me too, I'm mixed up with hazard and risk. Sometimes I think they are the same thing.
well, a forklift can be a hazard.
Yeah.
A forklift can be a hazard. What is the risk? What is the risk working around a forklift?
Getting
Injuries.
hit by it,
Getting injured, getting hit by it.
Okay.
yeah.
No, it's intuitive.
Working on a platform ladder could be a hazard. What is the risk?
Falling down.
Falling.
Falling.
Interesting, actually. There's a pretty simple way to put it up in the world.
Working
It's alright.
on screens. Let's say, for instance, working on screens. What are the hazards?
Falling off.
Falling through the screens,
Yeah.
falling off the screens, tripping on the screens. What are the risks?
Death.
Death, falling.
Serious injury.
So why would identification of the hazard be such a importance?
Because it could be a matter of life or death in some cases.
Yes, yes. But it would go furthermore to how would we prevent
Yeah.
the hazard or the risk, or minimize the risk of that happening.
Oh yeah.
Physical hazards. So hazards obviously come in different forms. So physical hazards pose immediate threats to worker safety, including equipment, tools, and machinery that can cause injuries through impact, entanglement, or exposure. Proactive measures like guarding, lockout, tag out, and proper training are essential to mitigate these risks. Examples of physical hazards include moving parts, hot surfaces, electricity, falls from heights, and exposure to noise or vibration. Identify and addressing these hazards is a core component of a comprehensive workplace safety program. So, how would we go about like isolating a physical hazard? Let's say, for instance, somebody doing hot works using oxyacetylene, cutting up metal. How would you go about isolating that?
Barricades.
First and foremost,
Maybe using the PP.
isolating the area.
Okay. And what would they have on hand to mitigate if something did go wrong?
They should have one guy watching the guy who's doing the work with a fire extinguisher,
Very good.
just in case it's needed,
Yeah.
and maybe to turn off the supply of the oxygen as well.
Yeah, very good. Chemical hazards. Chemical hazards pose serious health risks in a workplace, including toxicity, flammability, and corrosiveness. Proper handling, storage, and disposal of hazard chemicals are crucial to prevent workers from exposure. Examples of chemical hazards include solvents, acids, pesticides, and cleaning products, implementing engineering controls, personal protective equipment, and comprehensive training, and essential to mitigating these risks.
Some fuel too, no? They use
Fuel,
some
yeah.
fuel as well.
Yeah, petrol.
What do they do on site for petrol?
Well, for petrol, you would make sure it's stored in a proper container, well ventilated area.
Even the sun is a risk, or
No, not the sun. I wouldn't say the sun. I'd probably say no, just stored in a proper container
Yeah.
in a well ventilated area.
it has to be ventilated.
Even for me, I'm a painter, so do the paint that I use daily can be considered a chemical hazard?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Prolonged exposure to oil-based paint or anything that is a vapor,
Yeah.
that is vaporized, like when you use a Ellis spray gun, like you're spraying, it becomes a vapor. Anything vaporized, you can breathe in, and that can damage your respiratory system in the long run. Best way to mitigate that is probably with the proper class filters and a full face mask or half
Oh, yeah.
face mask.
I've been in the environment with all base paints. You can see the air.
You can
becomes
feel it.
heavy. You can
You
feel
can
it.
feel
It
it,
becomes heavy, lightheaded. You become lightheaded too.
Touching on that, but a face mask or half face mask doesn't do anything for you if you've got facial hair.
Okay.
Doesn't do
Yeah,
anything
alright,
for you.
fair enough. I didn't know these ones.
There's a lot of sites that will implement clean shaven. So you
Does the chemicals just sit on your?
no, it goes through your hair.
Ah,
It goes
yeah.
because your hair creates a barrier. So your mask is only as good as its seal.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that I would never think about.
That's
They-
something to
they-
think about,
they-
Raj.
Something about that.
Yeah, we will.
Maybe it's got to come off. Biological hazards. Biological hazards in the workplace can pose significant health risks, including exposure to infections, disease, bacteria, virus, and other microorganisms. Proper protocols for handling and disposing of contaminated materials is crucial to workers. Examples of biological hazards include bloodborne pathogens, mold, Legionella, and diseases transformed from animals, implementing engineering controls, personal protective equipment, and comprehensive training.
Do they use any of this biological stuff in the construction site? Huh?
No, that
Not for rats or
I haven't
anything?
seen, maybe when you're working probably in like service departments,
When you say
you would probably come across this sort of stuff.
for what, rats or bugs? Bugs?
Nah, like when they're disposing of the linen, when they're disposing of the waste,
I think in
There's
the
thing-
recent cases, I think we could relate the COVID with the virus.
COVID, yeah, COVID,
Ah,
yeah, we
is
could
it?
relate to COVID, yeah. And all the linen that was coming, that would come out of a hotel would have to be properly stored.
Oh, they burn it? What do they do?
They wash it.
Ah, they just wash it
Yeah,
properly.
just
with-
reuse
Like
it.
that, yeah.
And the people that would come in contact would have to wear a full face mask, full suit, gloves, mask, and when they finish their shift, they'd have to. That would all get disposed of, binned.
Just beat it, that's
Bin.
it, not even
No.
clean. Okay.
Physical hazards, work-related stress, workplace conflicts, lack of support. Work-related stress is
So when you work too much or something like that, or when there's too
Yeah,
much
work-
to do.
yeah, that could be one of them.
Yeah, too much pressure, I would say, in the
Or
workplace.
too much for, and for like say less pay.
Less pay.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a very real stress and
It causes
work and-
stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, not being recognized for the job, yeah. For the
Um,
efforts.
workplace conflicts. We can probably all say we've had that.
Yeah.
Put our hand up and say we've had that.
In the
Yeah.
construction
In the
site it's pretty
construction,
common.
At
yeah.
one point, everyone gets into
Everybody.
conflict.
So
Yeah,
we
it's
we
not
this
good
is where
to
we
do
probably got to be tolerant and respectful of each other. But sometimes it's a little bit harder to do than said.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Lack of support. Lack of support. I'm sure we can.
Yeah.
Michelle? You want to touch on that?
That's my
Maybe. Yeah, lack of support. Yeah, maybe like like let's say understaffed. That can be one of the
Understaffed,
situations. They're understaffed of a job or something.
yeah. Yeah. What about you, Niraj?
Lack of support, I would agree with Vishal. Lack of support, I think, would come from you're tasked with something in a workplace and you cannot do it. And then when you ask for help, they not provide you with enough support that you need.
Yeah.
And that puts you into the psychosocial health. That's mentally, challenges you mentally. because
Yeah, it
you-
drains you.
Yeah.
It drains you. But there is never a like a point where you can't say, look, I do need help on this.
Yeah.
Never thinking you're gonna win the war by yourself.
Yeah.
Blah,
Yeah,
lack of support.
yeah, so I've had one of these situations too, with them when you speak up a bit by not being actually listened.
Nobody hears you.
Yeah, no, I've had
And so they say falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Alex?
I think everything been said. Like the support, maybe financial support.
Very good.
Not enough money to get the right tools,
Yeah.
safe tools.
We've all hazard identification strategies. Number one would be workplace inspections. Number two is engaging with your employees. And number three, job hazard analysis. So, workplace inspections. So you would, let's say for a scenario, you're working you've been sent out to carry out a task at work. Let's say you'll be painting door frames with an airless spray machine,
Yeah.
something we've commonly seen. You get sent out. What would be one of the first inspections you would do when you arrive to your workplace,
Yes.
or maybe before you go to your workplace?
I will make sure that the tools that I have are in right
Working order.
yeah, working order. And
No
then I will
leaks.
check the materials that I'm gonna use, whether that can be harmful, because I obviously will be wearing PPE, but the people around me,
Mhm.
I need to be aware of them, like, are the people gonna be working near them and what kind of paint I'm using?
Yeah.
If the paint poses as a chemical hazard, I would say maybe put a barrier.
Exclusion.
Yeah,
Exclusion zone.
exclusion zone.
So nobody could go in and out.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you
You
don't harm
actually
others.
have to isolate the area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
For sure.
maybe a ventilation stuff
What about before going out to site?
before.
See where the power is.
See where the power is.
Yeah. How long you do?
How many leads do you need to run?
Yeah, and I have the leads in the like they're free of cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the hoses.
Yeah.
You know, when any cuts or nicks in those.
Yeah.
Employee engagement. So how would you like engage your employers with that? Like your employees. Let's say you wanted to send someone out to the site to carry out that task. How would you?
I would inform the hazards involved in
Yeah.
the job, and I would say maybe you need to organize this stuff because you're gonna need this PPE, so make sure you don't carry out the job without the correct order of PPE that you're gonna need.
No.
Yeah,
Um,
informing them and then training them would be crucial.
All right. What about a job hazard analysis?
I think the same goes with that. We just create checklist for the job, the hazards, and then we just tick every box.
You try to identify as many as you can.
Try
You
to
follow, or you
identify.
follow the.
Which brings us to the next table: risk assessment and control. So, systematically review work process and pinpoint potential sources of harm. So, analysis risks, evaluate the likelihood and severity of identified hazards, apply a hierarchy of control measures to mitigate or eliminate risks. So like we were saying before,
Yeah, like
you
we were
would
saying before,
identify,
exactly.
Identify.
the hazard,
Analyze.
analyze the risks,
And
and then you would implement the controls.
yeah,
Employee involvement and training, collaborative approach, comprehensive training, feedback and reporting. So collaborative approach is you and the employer and the employees and the principal company, all of them are collaborating on how to control a risk or do a task so nobody gets hurt. Comprehensive training is when you would not necessarily just send out your employees to training, is probably as well you train your management staff as well, so they understand the risks at hand as well.
Yeah.
Feedback and reporting is you've sent out an employee to go carry out a task. You want their feedback so you can improve as a company and a whole on how to carry out a task.
Yeah.
Proactive monitoring, employee feedback, incident investigation, continuous improvement. Proactive monitoring is always make sure your probably employees are all trained and up to date with their tickets. Employee feedback, ask them. Ask your boys, ask your girls, your workers, how they went out on site.
Yep.
Is there anything better that can be done? Incident investigation, God forbid something does happen, go wrong on site, something does happen. You carry out the appropriate investigation.
Yep.
You ask both parties or multiple parties what happened to get to the bottom of it and leave no one left out.
Yep.
Continuous improvement is just continuous improvement. Try to better yourself, better the company, better the management, so everybody can move forward. That brings us to the end of our PowerPoints. Just give me a moment.
Take your time.
Okay, that brings us to the end of, pretty much to the end of this session. With this, we've come to the end of our session. Today we learned about the legal obligations such as WHS Act and Regulation, benefits of safe work,
Yep.
how to identify hazards and learn about different types of hazards. To further enhance your grasp of the topics discussed, I've provided a handout that will include the terminology we covered today. Reviewing these materials will help reinforce your understanding additionally. I encourage you, as always, to watch related YouTube videos for more valuable insights into subject matter. Before we wrap up, please check your emails for the learner feedback form.
Yep.
Much appreciated all the
Yeah,
time.
we got
Yeah,
it.
got it.
Your feedback is crucial in shaping future sessions.
Okay.
So please take a moment to fill it out and send it back to me. Thank you for your participation and engagement. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Thank you very
Thank
much.
See you next session.
That's it.